Here is the full true story of the Indus Valley script, based on the latest archaeological evidence and scholarly consensus. It is a story not of definitive answers, but of a fascinating puzzle that continues to challenge historians and linguists. The full story of the Indus Valley script. The Indus Valley script is one of the world's great undeciphered writing systems. It is the enigmatic written language of one of humanity's first urban civilizations, and its meaning remains locked away, making its story one of both brilliance and mystery. The Indus Valley Civilization. The script was created and used by the people of the Indus Valley Civilization, IVC, also known as the Harappan Civilization. This was a vast, sophisticated, and remarkably organized culture that flourished in what is now modern-day Pakistan and northwest India. Urban planners. They built some of the world's first planned cities, like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, featuring grid-like streets, advanced drainage systems, and large public baths. Technologically advanced, they standardized weights and measures across their vast territory, were skilled in metallurgy, copper, bronze, lead, tin, and produced exquisite pottery and seals. Widespread traders. Evidence shows they traded with distant cultures in Mesopotamia, modern Iraq and Iran, Oman, and Central Asia. Mesopotamian texts refer to a land called Meluha, which is widely believed to be the Indus Valley region. Socially complex. The scale and organization of their cities suggest a highly structured society, though it appears to have been less focused on glorifying kings and warfare than its contemporaries in Egypt and Mesopotamia. There is a notable lack of palaces, grand royal tombs, or monumental statues of rulers. The mature Harappan period, the script did not appear overnight. Its development was part of the civilization's rise to maturity. Early phase, c. 3300–2600 BCE, pre-writing era. Settlements grew and the foundations of culture were laid. Precursor symbols and graffiti may have been in use. Mature phase, c. 2600–1900 BCE. This is the golden age of the IVC, and the period when the script was fully developed and actively used. For nearly 700 years, this script was inscribed on a variety of objects across the civilization's heartland. Late phase, c. 1900–1300 BCE. Around 1900 BCE, the civilization began to decline. The precise reasons are debated but likely involve a combination of factors. A major shift in monsoon patterns leading to drought, the drying up of the Ghaggar-Hakra river system, and the eventual breakdown of trade networks and urban life. As the cities were abandoned, the use of the script dwindled and eventually vanished. What we know and don't know. This is where the true mystery lies. Despite thousands of attempts, no one has successfully deciphered the script. Here's what the evidence tells us. 1. The evidence, where do we find it? The script has been found on over 4,000 objects, but the texts are incredibly short. The average inscription is only 4 to 5 characters long. The longest ever found has just 26 signs. It appears on steatite seals. These are the most famous examples. Small square soapstone seals with a carved animal, unicorn, bull, elephant, and a short line of script. They were likely used to imprint marks on clay tags attached to trade goods, signifying ownership or origin. Copper tablets, some with script and imagery. Pottery, scripts painted or incised on pots. Impressions in clay, likely from seals found on clay tags and pottery. A few other objects like bronze tools and ivory rods. Characteristics of the writing. It's a script, not random symbols. The patterns, repetition, and structure confirm it is a true writing system capable of representing language, not just random pictograms. Logosyllabic. Most experts agree it is probably a logosyllabic script. This means it uses a combination of logograms, a symbol that represents a whole word or concept, like the abar symbol means at. Syllabograms, a symbol that represents a syllable, like ma, ta, bai. Direction of writing. The script generally runs from right to left. This is evident on seals where the symbols are crammed on the right side, and on impressions where the first character is deeply impressed, as one would start stamping from the right. The language it represents, the biggest mystery. We don't know what language the script encodes. This is the single biggest obstacle to decipherment. The major hypotheses are Dravidian hypothesis. This is a leading theory. It proposes the IVC people spoke a Proto-Dravidian language, a precursor to the Dravidian languages spoken in South India today, like Tamil, Kannada, Telugu. This theory is supported by some structural analysis of the script and the presence of possible Dravidian loanwords in the Rig Veda, a later Sanskrit text. Munda hypothesis suggests a language from the Austroasiatic family, related to languages still spoken in parts of eastern India. Sanskrit Harappan hypothesis, Indo-Aryan. A more controversial theory suggests the language was an early form of Indo-European, related to Vedic Sanskrit. However, the general consensus is that Indo-Aryan speakers migrated into the region after the decline of the IVC, c. 1500 BCE. Language isolate. It's also possible the language isolate. It's also possible the Harappan language was a complete isolate with no known living relatives, which would make decipherment even more difficult. Why hasn't it been deciphered? The decipherment of Egyptian hieroglyphs relied on the Rosetta Stone, which provided the same text in 3 scripts. For the Indus script, there is no such key. The main obstacles are 1. Short inscriptions. There are no long narrative texts, no royal decrees, no literature, no lengthy religious texts. The longest is just 26 signs. This provides very little data for statistical or linguistic analysis. No known bilingual text. We have no translation of an Indus text into a known language. The underlying language is unknown. Without knowing if the language is Dravidian, Munda, or something else, decipherers are essentially working in the dark. 4. Lack of context. We have a limited understanding of IVC religion, governance, and daily life from archaeology alone, making it hard to guess what the text might say. The true story of the Indus Valley script is not a tale with an ending. It is an ongoing detective story. It was the functional, likely economic and administrative script of a highly successful, pragmatic civilization. It was used by merchants and officials to label goods, denote origins, record quantities, and perhaps mark the identities of individuals or clans involved in a vast trade network. It was not, as far as we can tell, used for grand imperial propaganda or lengthy religious epics on temple walls. Its disappearance around 1900 BCE is tied to the collapse of the urban civilization that created it. As cities were abandoned and trade networks fractured, the complex administrative need for writing vanished. The knowledge of the script was lost, and the language it represented likely faded or evolved into forms we cannot yet trace. Today, the script remains one of the most significant unsolved puzzles in archaeology. Deciphering it would be like switching on a light in a dark room, finally allowing the people of the Indus Valley civilization to speak to us in their own words and tell their own story, rather than us having to piece it together solely from the ruins they left behind.